So here we're going to look at the 2012 higher level question DCG paper, and we're going to look at question A2. So what we have been told is we have a road sign and it's on a support frame, and that support frame actually makes a regular tetrahedron. So what a tetrahedron is, it is a shape made up of 4 equilateral triangles. So we can see we've got 3 on the top, and the base of this is also an equilateral triangle. So that's all a tetrahedron is. So we have been given the majority of this question already. So in part A, what we've been told is just complete the elevation and also the directional arrow. So we have already the top point of the sign, we have the left point, and we have the right point of the sign. So we actually have very little to do here. So the first thing I'm going to do is finish off the sign, and to finish off the sign I'm just going to bring up the point on the bottom of the sign where it touches the ground line. I'm then going to heavy in the sign in the elevation. So I'm just going to heavy that in a little bit more so it's easier to see. So this sign, we can actually call it now an inclined plane. It's an inclined plane because it's not up vertical, it's actually folded away from us. So we can see that we have it both in the elevation and in the plan, and since it is an inclined plane, lines that I draw on the elevation are also going to be the same on the plan. So for example, that's the point on the front of the arrow, I've brought that up. That's the point on the back of the arrow, I've brought that up. So we can see that line was used in the elevation and we got it from the plan. So simple orthographic projections where the point is in the elevation is going to be directly below it in the plan. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a line across this inclined plane. So setting up the set square which is parallel with where the plane meets the ground. So I've drawn a line which includes the point on the arrow that I'm looking for. I'm going to draw another line across the plane. So that line includes the top of the arrow. So I'm going to find those 2 points up in the elevation. So very simply, I'm going to pick one end of the line. So I'm going to pick that end of the line. That's where that end of the line is in the elevation. So now I've drawn that line also in the elevation. So both those 2 lines are the exact same. So simple orthographic projection principle, where the point is in the plan, it's going to be directly above it in the elevation. And that's one side of the arrowhead drawn. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to repeat the process. So that line includes the point on the arrow I'm looking for. So I've drawn that line. So both of those lines are the exact same. The line contains the point on the arrow that I'm looking for. I've heavied it up, and that is all of part A complete. So here we're going to look at part B, and we've been asked to determine the true shape of the parallelogram shaped road sign. So as we said before, it is inclined, so it's folded away from us in the plan view, and it's also folded slightly away from us in the elevation, so we don't have a true view of it. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find a line view, and the easiest place here to find it is in the plan if I look in along that line. So the reason I'm going to look in along this line, and we're going to see in a second, I'm going to project up, and this is going to give me a line view of the signpost. So I've projected up where this plane or where the signpost meets the ground line, or where it meets the horizontal plane. So it's really where an inclined plane meets a horizontal plane. I'm also going to project up the top of the post for now. So perpendicular to that, I'm going to draw in a ground line any place at all. So this is going to be my x1, y1 line. So the signpost, or the inclined plane, meets the ground there, and the height in this case is going to be taken from the elevation. So I'm going to take that height, I'm going to project it onto my new view, and there I have a line view of the signpost. So back to other questions that we would have looked at before is if we look in perpendicular to the line view, what we could get here is the true shape of the sign. But in this case I'm going to do a little bit different. We're going to call, or what this method is called, is rabattement. So since I have a line view, I'm just going to rabat, or pivot this along the ground. I'm going to pivot it down until it's flat down on the ground. So I'm just letting the signpost fall straight onto the ground. So I'm going to extend on my x1, y1 line, or the ground line in this case. So this is the rabattement coming up. So we're rotating it down onto the ground. So now what I'm going to do is on the plan view of this, well, first of all I'm going to bring up the other 2 points in the signpost that I need. And that's also going to be rabatted, or it's also going to be rotated around. I'm going to find those points also on the ground. So if I use this for an example, that is the side view, or the line view of my eraser. I've rabatted it down onto the ground. I'm just going to flap it down where it's going to be in line with the sign. So that point now is going to be my pivot point. So I'm going to bring those lines over and we're going to see. So what I have done is I have rotated or rabatted those along. So that's my eraser again. That's the way the sign is. It's inclined to the horizontal plane. And I'm just letting it fall straight out. So we're going to get a true shape of the sign, or a true view of this sign. So like what happens with the eraser, when it's falling straight out, it doesn't change width. So that line, so that end of the signpost is folded straight out. The point on the ground never moves. So all I have to do is heavy in the true shape, and that is the 2012 question A2 complete. There's no need to put in the arrow sign. In this case we haven't been asked in the question, but if we did, we were just projected up through to the line view and we'll have it again. Again, there's been no need, but that is A2 finished.